This is video number 3. Good afternoon. I'm Ted Burnett. It's Wednesday, June 18th, 2014, and I'm at Bayfront Park in Daphne, Alabama, overlooking Mobile Bay. Since 2007, I've written on a lot of political and social matters, but my favorite topic over the years has been spirituality. As Tony DeMello said, what's more practical than spirituality? I grew up Catholic and attended Catholic schools and church for the first 18 years. And by that point, I had no relationship with God. Didn't know who God was. After 4 years of drinking in high school, I reached a spiritual bottom at 18, and I found myself attending AA meetings and trying to embrace the 12 steps. One of the critical parts of this spiritual program is developing a relationship with God as you understand Him. That's in step number 3. In the course of getting sober, kind of got into reality, started facing problems that I had ignored in my life, especially as a student with learning disability. I had a terrible experience, hated school, didn't like working on homework, didn't like learning, dealing with tutors. It was no fun, and sought any kind of escape to help me forget about drinking. I like PE, I like recess, I liked organized sports. That our school had football, had a football season and a basketball season, and I played in both sports for many years. I think as I began to work through those issues and dealing with my dyslexia at 18, going into college, and having to get help from tutors, from writers, help me write my papers, dealing with math, calculus classes, just whatever it took in college, I became willing to do it, and which was something that in high school and in grade school I put in the least amount of effort, and my grades were not very good as a result. With that, with the confidence and the courage that it takes to face our fears, I started to develop faith and trust and in this thing called a higher power or God or one's instincts, and learn to work through new problems as I was getting older, and unfamiliar problems, things I'd never seen before, which can always, produce all sorts of fear inside of us. And so with the courage, the confidence, and having this 12-step program, I learned to work through these issues and to talk them out and to seek help and walk away from the problem either with a solution that was satisfactory, or having learned something from the problem that would, and sometimes in life would reemerge in another setting, and I knew how to handle that problem. I faced career failures after college, relationship failures, health failures. I've had a nervous breakdown in my life. I've lost both my parents. I'm 43 now, and one died from drinking, and my mother got remarried, and that relationship is no longer. My wife is my ex-wife, and I lost all sorts of friends and classmates due to my nervous breakdown, my mental health issues, and after my divorce, they all abandoned me in 2007. I've been incarcerated and institutionalized in 3 different states. However, there's an upside to this story. One is I'm a survivor. I've lived through all that. I have lots of stories to tell. 2, as a writer, my work and my name are known all over the world. And so I know there must be a God, having survived all that. And I've learned to overcome a lot of fear with a lot of faith and trust and just confidence about how to deal with life, and have the courage and the strength to face problems. And I continue to deal with challenges on a daily basis, and some of them are small, some of them are big, but I do know the power of spirituality, of having a relationship with God, in some sense, not necessarily an image in my head of what he looks like, but just the process that it takes to work through problems. Spirituality and human growth and development are one of my favorite topics, and I write about them constantly when I'm not writing about Washington politics or some of our social problems. Ultimately, I think at the root of all our problems in this country, the United States, and around the world are spiritual problems. And I'm a big fan of Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration of Independence, and of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that we're all of equality. So I think to grow up Catholic, grow up an American, to grow up in the South, they all have filters that we hear through, that we see through, that we touch the world through, and the ability to no longer just identify yourself as being Catholic, or just being from Alabama, or from being an American, or whatever your profession is, or gender, or sexual orientation, but just to see yourself as being one of God's children in this whole world, this world with 7-8 billion people, and 27,000 miles circumference around the world. That that when something happens on the other side of the world, we should be bothered, and not just say that's not our problem, because karma and things just have a rippling effect to come back to touch every one of us. We're all connected to each other as human beings and as children of God. So I often have, over the years, in the 25 years of my spiritual journey, I've had to look to nature, to animals, to plants and trees, to get a real understanding of what's going on and how things really do grow, and the cycle of life and death, and nature versus the artificial process that man has really created in the Western world with our ability to manufacture all sorts of things. So the ability to see animals know how to eat, sleep, feed themselves, defend themselves, mate, those basic sets of needs for evolution, to moving on, producing a new generation, to be able to survive. You have to be able to defend yourself, stand up for yourself, and we in America have basically taken the bark and the bite out of people with manners and etiquette and all sorts of niceties. And a lot of people got hurt as a result, or killed, by being nice rather than following their instincts and getting out of somewhere or fighting. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. We're watching the sunset, and I hope you're enjoying my talk. And I probably have more to say on spirituality and how it means to me, and I'll get back to you in another video.